We're going to Sheffield today, so I'm just trying to ram some toast down me. Because we're late, because the shower wasn't working. But we're going to Sheffield to hopefully fix my ring. Let me show you. It's helpful me getting this actually because it's a helpful reminder, but my wedding ring has lost its stone. Just there. Don't know if it'll focus. Focus. Yeah. So I'm taking it to the jeweler to see if I can get it fixed. Let's talk about America just while I do a little bit of a get ready with me and clean my mirror. Yeah, so I know, I'm fully aware that I have about 15 subscribers, so no one really cares that I have been away from YouTube for a month or two. I know, but it feels like a really long time and I really want to get back into it. I am actually coming up for a year on YouTube, which is crazy to me because if you have watched any of my earlier videos or you did subscribe from the start, thank you, you'll know that I set this channel up really as a bit of a how would I describe? A place for me to just document things that I actually do that make me happy, and they might just be small little things in life. It might be a bit of baking, I might have done a bit of shopping, I might have, you know, I actually started riding in January 2025, which was a childhood hobby, and so it's just remembering that as I've gotten older, I do have fun things that I enjoy doing, and they don't always have to be big things, but that doesn't make them insignificant. They're just a part of what brings me enjoyment in life, and so I wanted to document that. And so whilst I feel like I have achieved that, you know, I'm really happy with the fact that I finally got on and done it. It was something that I wanted to do, oh gosh, for years and years. It was something that I wanted to do at university. I just never had the confidence, I guess, to do it. And so I am really glad that I've done it, and it was something that I did for myself. But what I realised is that I think I've kind of, I want to say over-egged things, but I don't, what do I mean by that? I think I could have made things easier for myself. You know, I think I've tried too much to get things perfect. And when I say perfect, I know full well I'm a very novice YouTuber. But, I mean, I bought a good camera, I sat on ideas and then never ran with them because I didn't think they were good enough, when actually if I'd have just got on and posted and not really cared about stuff like that, it wouldn't have mattered, because like I said before, the reason I set up this channel was just to document the things that really made me happy. So just go and document the things that make you really happy, Laura. Don't worry about whether they look clean or polished, because if you then find that you enjoy the editing side of videos, then that will come over time. So, you know, there's a little bit of that. But anyway, they're just some reflections on coming up to a year of YouTube. What I really wanted to sit down and talk to you about, which I was obviously going to do while I did a little bit of makeup, which I've basically done now, is I wanted to talk to you about America. So for those of you who know, but I'm guessing most of you might not know because I don't talk about it very much on here, I got married in June 2024, and we decided that for our honeymoon, we wanted to go to America. And America has never really been high up on my list, but I think that's just because I knew it was so big, and I knew that there were so many different places with different landscapes that we could visit, but I didn't really know, you know, what was what or what I wanted to see. And so after some thought, we decided that we would quite like to do an East Coast road trip, because if we, you know, do different parts of America, there's no way we can do it all. Like, it's so vast. And so we decided to do an East Coast road trip. And so we started in New York, where we've been before, separately. And so we didn't spend loads of time in New York. And then we worked our way down. We did 10 states in total over 4 weeks and worked our way down to Miami. So I just want to say it was the most incredible trip I've ever been on. I feel like my views on America, I was so naive. I didn't know what to expect in America. I have to say that every state we went to was so different. People think of America as New York, as someone who doesn't live in America, and if you want the true American experience, don't go to New York, because you won't get it. New York is so diverse, it's so big, there's so much going on, there's so much tourism. It's a fantastic city, and I do recommend that people who want to go to America for a big city experience should absolutely go to New York. But if you want to experience America, New York is not the place to go. We hired a car. Oh my god, the cars, the roads in America are huge. Don't get me wrong, they are the least environmentally friendly things on the planet. But we got a Yukon, which was absolutely huge. Yeah, I've never driven anything like it, and we drove that all the way from New York to Miami. So we went out to New Jersey. Is New Jersey called the Garden State? You know, they all have names, like Florida's the Sunshine State. I forgot when. I think New Jersey is the Garden State. It's really green to drive through. It's really beautiful. We stayed in a small place called Cowtown, where they have a rodeo, and it's a professional rodeo. And so we went to see the rodeo, and it was a phenomenal experience. It was something I've never experienced before. It was very casual. People turn up in their cars and have like a little tailgate barbecue before they go in. There's barbecue food there. There's like a rodeo shop. The rodeo itself, I've got some mixed feelings about, because I do recognise that the roots of rodeo come from, you know, farming culture and working horses and things like that, and I totally get that. But there were some of parts of the sport that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable about whether it was necessary to do that. But then you could say that about dressage. Is it necessary that we engage in dressage with our horses? Arguably not. So, you know, you could come up with an argument for or against either way, I think. But as an overall experience, I loved the rodeo. And then we went out to Atlantic City, and if you don't know Atlantic City, it's like a coastal town in New Jersey. It's like a mini Vegas, so I think the only reason you'd really go there is for casinos. So we stayed in Borgata, which is like a really big, famous casino there. It's huge. I've never stayed anywhere like that before. And so we went to somewhere on the dock for like really good seafood. It was amazing. I think it was called Doc's Oyster House or Doc's Oyster Bar. It was incredible. And then spent the night in the casino. I didn't really win anything, but it was fun. It was really fun. I won't go into the detail of everywhere we stayed, by the way, because I'll literally be here for hours and my video is already way too long. But we went on to Philly after New Jersey. So we spent a few days there. I enjoyed Philly. It wasn't my favourite place, but as a city, I did enjoy it. Washington DC, loved, absolutely loved. So much to do there. you know, loads of museums, loads of walking, the White House. We got a staff tour of the Capitol. We stayed in between the city and like the harbour. So the harbour was like a 15-minute walk from our hotel. So we walked down there for dinner every night, and that was really nice. And then from Washington DC, we went to Cleveland. Now, Cleveland wasn't originally on the list, but my husband is a Packers fan, and Packers were playing the Cleveland Browns at Browns. And so we took a detour and drove out to Cleveland. And my husband had met a guy who was going with his sister and dad on Reddit, of all places. And they were going to a tailgate. So we met them, experienced our first tailgate, which, again, I won't go into all the details of what a tailgate is, but it's basically like a party, food, socialising before the game. But they start at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and some of the games don't start until, say, 2:30 in the afternoon, maybe later if it's a late game. And so yeah, it was a fun experience, and that was the first NFL game we've been to in America as well. So being there with the American fans and meeting people, and they were all super interested that there were these random British people here at tailgate in Cleveland. Yeah, it was just really fun. We had a lovely experience, and we met a few people in the bar at our hotel after the game as well. So we basically just spent the whole day making friends, which was really nice. We loved it. And then we went from Cleveland down to Shenandoah. So we drove through Maryland and into Virginia, and we went and did the Skyline Drive through Shenandoah National Park, and that was just phenomenal. It's this 105-mile route that we did, and there's loads of different lookouts, and you look over at the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it's just incredible, like incredible scenery, incredible wildlife, birds. We didn't see anything like bears or big cats, but they are there, they do live there. Yeah, so that was absolutely stunning, beautiful. I would love to go back to Virginia actually, but my favourite place, which is where we went to after Virginia, was a place called Asheville, which is in the northwest of North Carolina, and it's kind of like, it's a mountain town. There's farms, there's ranches. So we did quite a bit of hiking. We went up Mount Mitchell, which is about just over 6,000 feet elevation. It's the highest peak on the east side of the Mississippi, which I guess if you're not from America or you don't know American geography, probably doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but basically it's massive. And so yeah, we went up there for the day, did loads of like lookouts, little hiking, trails and things like that. We did cock up a little bit though, and when I say a little bit, a lot, I was really stressed out because we realised that we didn't quite have enough petrol to get us up and down the mountain, and obviously there's no service stations on the mountain, no petrol stations on the mountain. We just completely forgot, which was just so silly. And so the park rangers were like, I think you're gonna have to coast your vehicle all the way back down the hill. So that was so stressful. And every time we revved the engine, we were like, oh my god, no, we're losing petrol. But there was a petrol station pretty much right at the bottom of the mountain. Unfortunately, we just about made it. I think we had something like 7 miles left to spare in the tank. That was a really stressful day. But we also did some horse riding in Asheville, which I loved. It's like the home of bluegrass music, so we found an Irish bar that played live bluegrass music. Irish bar playing blues? I mean, yeah, that's what it was. It was an Irish bar playing live bluegrass music every week, most nights. And they had great food as well, so we watched a lot of live music while we were there. We also went to a shooting range, indoor shooting range, while we were there as well, which I wasn't really looking forward to that much, but actually now I've done it, I'm glad I've done it, because I feel, not that I would ever really need to operate that kind of thing in the UK, but I know how to do that safely for specific types. So yeah, actually I quite enjoyed it. It felt very educational for me, and yeah, so I enjoyed it. Yeah. And then from Asheville we went to, where did we go? North Carolina, South Carolina. So we went to Charleston. Charleston is like a beautiful colonial town. It's obviously got quite a lot of slave history, and there's plantations there, which we visited one. We visited a large one actually called Middleton Place, and it's a really conflicting experience because the estate was beautiful, but you kind of think back to the history that was there. Yeah, and it kind of leaves some conflicting thoughts in your mind, I guess, especially because the main produce of Middleton Place was rice, and so the rice paddies are in water, and because you're starting to get into the south of the country, poisonous snakes live in the water. It's alligator country, so it was a pretty dangerous place to be. So it was quite stark to hear some of the stories of the plantation, but I'm really glad we visited that. And then we moved on to what is another similar vibe type town, just on the Georgia coast. Sorry, just on the Georgia border, and it's on the coast, which is Savannah. Savannah is probably like a smaller Charleston in my view. So fun, really fun place. Really small, but I made like a custom trucker hat. We had like takeaway pizza and oh my god, what's it called? I want to say hooch, but I don't mean hooch. Like moonshine. Yeah, obviously not in the same way that moonshine used to be made, but you're obviously not allowed to drink in America in the streets, but there's some sort of exception in Savannah, and there might be in other places as well, which I think is to do with bringing in tourism, but you can basically get like a takeaway drink to go. So we had a little beer and a moonshine, peach moonshine, walking around Savannah with my little trucker hat that I made. I'll put like a little picture of the hat that I made. It was this really cool shop called the Mess Hall. The Mess Hall. And it's really fun. It looks like a salad bar, and you go around and move your tray with your hat on, and then you peel off some stickers and stick where you want all of the badges to go on your hat, and then they press them on for you. It's really cool. Where do we go from Georgia? Oh, we went from Savannah to Atlanta. Atlanta's a big city. Like, I did not appreciate how big Atlanta was. It's not, what I found with America is that the big cities are where people come to live and work. They're not particularly tourist friendly, unlike New York. And that's fine, because we were getting like 35,000 steps in a day. Like 15,000, 20,000 was like a bad day. And so, yeah, some of the places are not particularly tourist friendly, but it was so nice to experience them. Again, we did a lot of museums in Atlanta. We found this cool place called Mary Mac's Tea Room, and it's like true southern hospitality, southern food. Again, just incredible. And what I mean by southern hospitality is the friendliness, the welcoming atmosphere, like the home cooked feel and taste of the food, like just fantastic. Absolutely loved it at Mary Mac's. And actually we got an Uber there, and when the driver obviously saw we were going to Mary Mac's, he was like, "What? I can't believe you've never been. Like, welcome to Atlanta. Like, we love like telling new people about things to do here and what it's like to live in Georgia. Do you know what? I'd have to say Atlanta was probably one of the friendliest places that I went to in America. It was, yeah, super, super friendly people. And the Uber driver recommended that we try the peach cobbler for dessert. And we were so, so full, but we were like, our Uber driver told us that we had to have the peach cobbler, so please can we just have one to share? And we barely managed it. But yeah, it was incredible. And then Atlanta, we did a big drive then. We went from Atlanta to a place called Crystal River, which is on the west coast of the Florida Panhandle. And there is where all the manatees come in the winter months. The water is crystal clear, so turquoise and blue and bright. It was sadly slightly too early for the manatees. They were still out at sea. It hadn't got cold enough for them to come inland yet. But yeah, it was beautiful there. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then we hadn't planned on seeing a college football game because we weren't really sure how we would make it fit with the itinerary, but we realised that there was a game that was Florida Gators and Texas Longhorns in Gainesville in Florida, which is University of Florida, after we'd been at Crystal River. And so we were like, shall we just make a trip out? We'll do a bit of a detour and then we'll do a long drive at night to where we needed to go next. So we did Gainesville for the college football. College football compared to the NFL is so loud, so fun. I mean, the NFL is fun, but like, imagine the NFL but on steroids. That's college football. Yeah, that was a really cool experience. And again, we just met so many friendly people in the crowd, and they were teaching us all the chants, and then they were like, come on, like, you've got to do the chant too. So I think my cat's trying to get in the room. Yeah, so that was really fun. And then we took a really long drive actually from Gainesville down to Homestead in South Florida, which is near where the Everglades National Park is. And we spent 4 incredible days in the Everglades. If you're going to go to South Florida, I highly, highly, highly recommend you go to the Everglades. We did like a bike tour, just the 2 of us. We saw alligators in the wild. We saw so many different birds. We took a boat tour out into the national park, which was just beautiful and stunning. And in fact, it was this like big, like 30, 50 people boat, and it was just me and my husband. It wasn't high season at all. And so the 2 guides that were there were just, yeah, like giving us like loads of info, and it was like a one-on-one experience. It was so nice. It's quite heavily like Spanish, Latin America influence in South Florida, and so we went to a couple of Spanish and Mexican restaurants in Homestead, and like nobody spoke English, so we had to whip out the Spanish, which is fine because we do Spanish lessons. We're not very good. Well, I'm not very good. Tom's better than me, but yeah, you know when somebody starts speaking to you in another language and you take a minute to process, and then you're like, oh wait, yeah, I need to start speaking in the other language. And then once we'd been to the Everglades, we took a day trip out to Florida Keys. We didn't go all the way to Key West, and I think if we'd have had a bit longer, well, we probably did have long enough really. Like, we were in the Keys for a day and we just stopped at each key and had a bit of an explore. You absolutely could do more, see more and stay longer, but we didn't want to lose out on the time that we were having in Miami or in the Everglades, so we kind of just made it a day trip, and it was beautiful. It was really nice. It wasn't quite what I expected it to be though, because I think you think of that long road out through the sea, which it is, but I think the pictures from above of the road look more impressive than you driving past holding your phone at the sea. Does that make sense? And then we spent our last bit of time in Miami, and Miami was fun, but was Miami my favourite place? No, like Miami I was looking forward to the most, and it was not the place that I enjoyed the most. I loved it, I think it's beautiful there, but again, it's a city where people live and work in America. So South Beach, Miami Beach, gorgeous. They don't take you 3 days to see. We did Little Havana, which we had amazing food. Went to bars where they have like dancing and stuff like that. Really fun. But then we just spent a bit of time in the city, and it just wasn't. Yeah, like it's just not a super touristy place in that respect. Like there are things to do, don't get me wrong, and we did do things in the city, but it just wasn't my favourite place in America. So yeah, I was hoping to give you like a real whistle stop tour of America, but I have not shut up, so yeah, I think it might actually be a bit of a long one.